The fact of the matter is they lost $6.5 billion last year, and it's anticipated that when they announce their results for the fiscal year that ended September 30th, they're going to lose somewhere in the neighborhood of $8 billion.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Before we start today, I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's doing the damn thing. Shout out to Tyler Vassar. I saw your Zoom meeting today. Shout out to Corey Walton over there from Arbitration. Shout out to JH. Shout out to Mailman Nick. Shout out to Angry Mailman. Shout out to Mailman Derek, Mailman Saeed. Everyone doing everything that they can in their best of their ability to spread the message. Guys, check this out. I think this is pretty cool. Someone sent it to me. I'm going to be rocking it from now on in all of my videos. Shout out to you. Okay, you, the viewer, you, the listener. Shout out to you because you guys are the reason why I do this. Okay, without you, this is impossible. And I'll use that as a segue into reminding you guys to vote accordingly, vote to what fits you personally and your family. And more importantly, when you do vote, make sure you fill out the ballot correctly, make sure you sign it, and make sure there's no way to invalidate it. All right, guys, so here we are. Okay, we're just about a week and a day from receiving this tentative agreement. The uproar is quite interesting. On the ground level, I hear a lot of people will support it, and they have that right too. Okay, let's not use this opportunity to gain against each other and separate even further. Let's not criticize anyone that we work with. Okay, allow them their opinion, allow them their voice. They have that right. This is a democratic process, and for that we must remain thankful. For those who are going to vote no, that's your right too. All right, now it's more important for you to hold yourself to a higher level of moral respect and ethics when someone challenges you, because you have more to lose. Okay, when you go against the opposition, you have more to lose. All right, you will be tested, you will be tempted, and you have to keep your composure, and you got to stay cool like a cucumber. All right, so guys, I had the opportunity to listen to our president yesterday on the Valley Report, and he made a fool out of himself. All right, he sounds more like a advocate for United States Postal Service rather than the National Association, aka association. It doesn't say National Labor Union. Association is a group of people who organize for a certain thing, right? Let's get the right definition here. Association, a group of people organized for a joint purpose. Okay, so we are organized for a joint purpose, and that's for better wages and a safer work environment. This man talked about safety. He compared our safety as more containing to heat illness, which I do agree with that. But then he went and said that he negotiated with the Postal Service to make sure that every vehicle in the future has AC. Bro, we're in 2024. You know, he took that bargaining line from the UPS contract, but UPS had those box trucks. We have LLVs. I get it. There's no ACs, but we do have ProMasters and Metris. And he already knows that they purchased all these new vehicles, so he didn't accomplish anything. All he's trying to do is sell you guys a contract or a tentative agreement which doesn't support you. He went on to say that UPS has we have a way better retirement package, I want to say, or benefit package than UPS. However, we do pay for our own insurance. We do pay for our pension, and there's different levels to the pension. All right, guys, the civil service guys, you guys paid a certain percentage. Okay, the FERS, there's 3 different percentages that went into FERS. If you started between one era, you paid one type of percentage. Then it changed, you paid a different percentage, and then it is where it is today, where I pay like 4.8%. So I'm putting, basically, let's round up, 5% of my check is going towards my pension, 5% is going towards my TSP, 5% is going to my health care. Okay, so that's 15% out of my check gone already. Then you got taxes, then you got life insurance from Fegley, then you got eye insurance, then you have vision insurance. All right, guys, so I don't see how that benefit package is really supported me. I do understand I get fronted my AL. Okay, I get 2 weeks paid every year. That's pretty exciting. And I get sick leave that I accrue every paycheck. Okay, but as for us being competitive with a retirement package, I don't necessarily see that, because I'm paying for it and I'm paying for everything that I need while I'm working. So what that does is reduces my take-home pay. Okay. The interesting thing that Renfro was really ranting about was his lack of willingness to go to arbitration. Okay, so this is the man who says he will vote for this contract because he agreed, he negotiated, so of course he will vote for it. But then he goes on to say that he doesn't think that we will get anything better than what we have if we go to arbitration. And then not Tyler Vassar, the guy interviewing him asks him, oh, well, I thought that the Postal Service number one argument that they're losing money, couldn't it be included into arbitration? And then Renfro, rambles on and says, well, it's going to be included. That's their best argument, and it's up to us to work around that argument and defend the union's position. But he defended management's position more, talking about how last year they assumed a $6 billion loss, and this year that they're going to assume an $8 billion loss. Like, honestly, dude, it's the federal government. If they can't afford their workers, then they got a more serious problem if they can't afford to give us a raise. I mean, shout out to the letter carriers that worked during the pandemic. You guys, I wasn't a letter carrier at that point in my career yet. I was considered an essential worker with my other job, and I got screwed too. I don't want letter carriers to think they're the only ones that got screwed during that time, because I definitely got screwed in the private sector. I was in a different job area. I was working more like in the building construction type stuff. I was unloading trucks for a company that specialized in windows and doors and cabinets. And after everything was done with COVID, my state offered $1,000 check for people that worked, and to no understanding of my own, I was not eligible to receive the money. Okay, it was only $1,000, but still, it was something. And then what really gets me angry, if you think about it, if you want to get angry, while people were working during the pandemic, I'm gonna get back to postal workers. Think about all the people that got to stay at home with their family and receive more money than we were getting paid for working a job. Like, that really, 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 really pissed me off. And now, as a nation, we're paying for that. Okay, the prices of everything through the roof. They're trying to say it's because of the money they gave the American people. It's bigger than that. It's the money that they gave to the corporations and to bail everyone else out. They gave us pennies when it comes down to it. And why not help the people when the people was the ones that pay taxes to support the system? But the postal workers did get screwed over. You guys were literally out here delivering for America when America was shut down. And to not be paid adequately for that time is a slap in the face. For Brian Renfro to come up with an agreement that only helps, basically, I know that he helps out the maxed out carriers to a small percent, but for him to focus so much of the tentative agreement financial aspect to the new carrier is a smack in the face. Okay, I'm not saying that the starting wage is too low. I'm not saying that the starting wage is fair. I'm saying that the starting wage is low and it is unfair. However, if you are going to allow a new person walking off the street, okay, two things. If you're going to allow them a starting wage higher than anyone started in the last 20 years, and two, a shorter amount of time to top step than anyone in the last 20 years, you got to look out for the rest of the people that's been doing this for 20 plus years, or from 0 to 20 years before today. Okay, you got to definitely look out for everyone in between the steps. Anyone between step C and O, you guys need to stand together and really understand what is happening here. All right, in essence, you guys are going to be pushed out. Okay, everything is going to be geared toward getting the new vote from the new carrier who starts at a new wage. Okay, with more preferential treatment than people that have been working here and understand the system. Okay, people that don't know how to case mail aren't going to understand that they are starting off their career with a 13-minute deduction in office time, and they're going to see the mail volume for what they see it as they start. They're not going to understand how the postal service was before they came, so everything is going to look hanky-dory to them. It's just going to be their normal because that's all they know. The people that suffer the most are going to be those elderly carriers. That's a bad word, not elderly. Those carriers with much season, the seasoned carrier who has been doing this job and has seen the influx of mail change drastically. All right. When a carrier has worked his career at a certain standard or a certain way, it's extremely difficult for them to jump into a new way of system or a new system. Okay. So this carrier, the carriers that are on the top step, are going to be reduced office amount of time just like we will. Now, Brian Renfro says, oh, this is just in case we ever create another joint route adjustment system with the postal service. But why would you include standards for something that might happen? Okay, if you think how I think, management will use this as a tool and a tactic to push us out the office even faster and even harder. I know you guys see it in your office because it happens to us on a daily basis. The managers and the supervisors are pushing us out of the office. They don't want us in there for more than 30 minutes. Okay, they're screaming, hit the street, everyone move over to 354. And if you don't know what 354 is, that's a standby time. So when they don't have enough clerks to throw packages, mail's already up, maybe you pulled down, maybe you didn't, because technically you're supposed to be waiting for your spurs because that's a caseable mail item. Anyway, when they tell you to move to 354, what they're doing is stopping your time. They're stopping any time where you're working. So now this essentially shows as a downtime or a standby time where there's no work available on your route. Okay, because technically we're waiting for packages. Now you have to beat the standby time. Every time you go to 354, you're eliminating time that could be recorded as a working function on your route. So you got to do your labels, spend more time checking your vehicle. Okay, they don't want us to go through the DPS in the office. They're fighting with that too. But you got to be creative. You got to be creative to find work available to your route. Okay, guys. One of the most important thing is waiting for those spurs. Okay. Take a look tomorrow when you're working. Take a look around your station and see how many people are actually waiting for the spurs to be done before they case them. Just an observation. And after you see what's going on, lead by example. The next day, you wait for your spurs and you case them. And I guarantee you management will try to challenge you, but get your shop steward involved because they can't take that time away from you. The problem is people aren't using that time. All right, guys. Now, losing that office time will be a crisis to us in the near future. Another thing that most carriers aren't aware of is that, this tentative agreement is going to be in effect 6 months after ratification. So even for the new carriers, I don't want you guys to be misled. One, this is only if this tentative agreement passes. If it doesn't, this doesn't apply, but it's going to be implemented 6 months after the ratification of the vote. So don't assume that just because you vote today and it gets ratified, you're going to get your raise tomorrow, your 1.3 plus your COLA plus your step increase. It doesn't work that way because your step increase is going to take 46 weeks. That's why Renfro sells it as a package and at the end date of the end of the tentative agreement. He doesn't sell it as it happening overnight because it's not going to happen that way. Basic math shows me that if this tentative agreement does get approved, my first immediate raise increase will be in March of 25, and that's not including my step because I won't convert my next step until August of next year. That's when I will become a step C carrier. And then by the time this tentative agreement expires in 26, according to the step chart, I would already be in step D. Okay, so again, if we assume how Renfro is doing it, he is using the time in between today and the time between the end of the tentative agreement to include those two steps that you will automatically, organically achieve as a part of your benefit of this tentative agreement raise or percentage of wage increase. All right, guys. So being a knowledgeable member that you are, you should already understand that this is going to happen whether or not this tentative agreement is approved or disapproved. Okay. Now, if it is approved, do not be mistaken when you don't get an immediate raise. Okay. You're still going to be making what you're making today. You're going to get your back pay, but until everything is fixed and the numbers are ran, the new carriers that will convert from CCA to Step C, that won't happen until 6 months after ratification. And I don't think it will happen until everyone that's a Step B now becomes a Step C organically. And that is based off of your hire date, your seniority date. Those are just some things to look forward to and look into. Do not be misled. Do not be discouraged either. We are in a time where our union is sticking together, and that could be the greatest moment in the last 50 years that NALC has seen. I also wanted to throw this out. I don't know how far in the future you guys are looking. I don't know what your views are on what kind of qualities you look into the next presidential candidate for our president. But I do want you to put one thought into your mind. All right. Essentially, we don't want to put someone into our presidency who is a history member of or a lifelong politician. Okay. What we're trying to do here is change the system. Okay. We're trying to change the status quo. So we don't want to put someone in there that is going to fulfill the agenda of the old brotherhood. Okay, we want someone that is going to change status quo, that isn't scared to ruffle up feathers and isn't scared to fight for what the people want. All right, guys. So keep that in mind. I don't encourage to support any one candidate. That I don't encourage one candidate on my channel per se. But I do look at what candidate resonates with what I am pursuing more than just what masses of people want to happen. Okay, I don't vote according to what other people want. I vote for what aligns with my beliefs. Okay, and I think an educated voter is a strong voter. Yeah, besides that, guys, I just definitely wanted to spend a couple seconds with you here on Sunday and just shout out, all you guys. If I knew you guys individually, I'd definitely shout your names out individually and your branch numbers, because what we need is encouragement from one another. Division, that's so easy. It's so easy to be negative, but to actually look at someone and pat them on the back and say, hey, you did a good job today. That's what we need. That's what we lack as people, not even as union brothers and sisters. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got today. Until next time, I'll be here. You'll be there. Peace. And I just want to say this, take what you want and leave the rest. All right, guys. If you want to stick around and keep tuning into me, that's fine. If you have any gossip or criticism, I don't want to hear it. I don't really like that in my comments. I mean, you can do it, but what's the point? This whole channel is meant to be supportive of the city letter carrier, and technically I only want people that are on my wavelength. Like I said, I'm open to opposition. When you put yourself in a public domain, you have to know that thing comes. But ultimately, this community is a strong community, a loving community, as you can see. Love. So later for all the other stuff. All right, guys, until next time, I'll be here. You'll be there. Peace.